we are with Professor Beckett. Okay, I have 3 questions for him. Okay. The first one, can you repeat those characters needed for TESOL professionals?
TESOL professionals need to have what I'll call a very strong sense of their own agency, or as Ted Rogers said, teacher directedness or teacher initiatives. They need to feel that they can make decisions every day which are important for the learning of the students, and they can build that into the curriculum. And they also need to be aware of what I call adult learning techniques. So they should have just simple devices like knowing everybody's name, using good questioning, and also using small group work and a variety of ways of having experiences in classrooms. So I think that's the best thing TESOL teachers can learn and about their practices.
Okay, my second question is that how can teachers be trained to find adjective in any story they find interesting for their students?
Yes, that's a terrific question. And do you mean TESOL teachers or teachers in general?
TESOL.
TESOL teachers. I think it's important for TESOL teachers to use anything as a text, and it might be printed, but it could be a physical activity like an excursion or a piece of film. Anything at all which you can guide the students through learning from its construction and its deconstruction. So if they do an excursion or they're reading part of a novel, it's important that they understand how this thing works, how it operates, and then they get to learn and to read other texts in a fairly critical way. We have to get away from the idea that the best way of teaching someone something is to tell them. That's the old idea. And there is a place for telling them, to giving a lecture like I did just now, but lecturing is only part of the landscape of all the ways in which you should work with a group of learners to encourage them to take responsibility for their own learning. And that's what I was trying to say this morning. Take courage from that agency that every TESOL teacher does have.
So the last one, very important ones for every teachers, every TESOL teachers. Okay, can you provide some examples of English for everyday for primary, secondary, and university level?
There's a terrific film on at the moment called Life of Pi. And it's on in Thailand, it's on around the world, and it's going to win a lot of Academy Awards. Life of Pi. It's the film of the book of the same name that won the Booker Prize about 7 years ago. And I would say, using that as an example, there are many ways in which you could, in a school classroom, use the lifeboat and the tiger and the Indian boy and get role plays and simulations and critical questioning going about the whole of the Life of Pi story relative to the age of the learners. So you could do a very grade 1, aged 5 version of tigers and boats and survival. Then you could do a teenager version of tigers and boats and survival and desert islands and danger and everything, and moral responsibility. And even for adults, you could use Life of Pi, the book and the film, as ways of providing experiences in the classroom, carefully constructed, so that you could say, in half an hour, everybody, we will have learned things about what it's like to get on with each other in a dangerous situation, like the ocean, with a tiger and a lifeboat. And you have different levels of sophistication of that. Role play, simulation, videotaping, classroom exercises. You can even have a test about it afterwards. I'm not opposed to IELTS, I'm not opposed to TOEFL. I think testing is important, but it's not the whole story. So I'm on about different classroom experiences which broaden out the ways in which people experience things.
Thank you very much for your valuable suggestion.
Thank you. I'm pleased that you found it a helpful presentation.
Was very kind, and he was my great teacher. In terms of great teacher, I mean he is very caring, and he usually asks whether we have any problem with his teaching or whether we need more references. So he always provided us with information, and also he cared for his students. He not only taught us, but he was our great friend. Yeah, so that is my impression. Thank you.
Thank you.